application in. So I'd like to make a motion to approve the Adapt County application from the Steel Ranch for 2.4 miles on Rocky Road.
Is there a second? Second. Commissioner Eager, discussion. All in favor, say aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Item 23. An F-150 purchase for capital equipment. Pretty much for precinct 1.
I make a motion to approve the specs purchase of a 2025 Ford F-150 with accessory for precinct 1 commissioner as outlined for the capital equipment section of fiscal year 2025-26 budget.
Is there a second? Second. Mr. Riley, discussion.
So, Tommy, this, you're giving the current drive now to maintenance?
Yes, it's got the features on it, but the maintenance, I don't need some of the features that it has, I need a smaller truck. That's pretty much it. They were looking for a new truck.
And they were needing a bigger truck.
They were seeing this truck this forward. That's how we did it.
Further discussion.
In the previous commissioner's report, we approved the purchase of an F-550. Both come from the same vendors? Is this vendor part of the Bible?
Yes,
So then that won't affect any violations of going over 100,000.
Okay. My word is essentially the same as if you went out for bid, but the state went out.
the county's.
Further discussion. All in favor, say aye. Opposed, motion carries. Item 24, asking your acknowledgement for education, Commissioner Willie Eager.
Make a motion to accepting and continuing education where needed.
Is there a second?
Uh,
Commissioner Weir, discussion. All in favor, say aye. Opposed, motion carries. 25, annual rate.
Move to approve specs and purchase of Motorola handheld radios for emergency management. Two of them county judge's office and fire marshal office, as outlined in capital equipment section of fiscal year 25.
Is there a second? Second. Further discussion. All in favor, say aye. And opposed? Motion carries. 26, tractor.
Move to approve the specs and purchase of a Toyota M7060 HTC and a 27 series rotary 84-inch pride shredder for precinct 4 as outlined in capital equipment section of fiscal year.
Is there a second?
Second.
Commissioner Eager, discussion.
What's the status of the other factors? We're going to sell the other factors? Well,
This is actually gonna be precinct 4's only track for the other ones are precinct 4.
The new homes are staying in place.
right now, Don, we're probably today, getting to,
All in favor, say aye. Opposed? Motion carried. Item 27 for the discussion of how the Montgomery regular meeting, which they, in fact, that holiday is Veterans Day. And trying to determine the pleasure class. Now, earlier we discussed it on the 17th. This special meeting for canvassing the vote, and if there are, if you do them then, or regular, sort of regular meeting in November of the commission school, and skip to November 11th. But in any case, or you can do anything else you want to do. You want to just move it one day, you could probably figure out how to do that. Anyway, does anyone have any thoughts or concerns about the November 11th holiday?
could you share a special meeting?
Sorry,
You could share the special,
yes. What that mean?
need to share, have special meetings, same.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Can we share this special meeting on the 17th
Yes,
with what we were gonna do on the 11th?
yes.
Okay.
As long as you get your items in it, I mean, you think they'd get in the time, because if they're gonna get in for the 11th, they'd be in for the 17th.
So,
It's just a new law the way it is, it's hard
yes, sir.
to get everything.
Will that affect anything with the kind of treasurer's office getting bills out to the, not the ones that you pay automatically, phone bills, but the other bills? Does that create an issue?
So. That,
Could I
do you need to make a motion or do, or,
you know, I don't know, maybe
since we are going to have the November 17th meeting. I guess we need to decide what you'll do to review them.
I'll make a motion to cancel the November 11th meeting, and if there's any necessary items, they can be added to the 17th special meeting.
There, second.
Second.
Further discussion. All in favor, say aye. Opposed. Motion carried. We will take some discussion, executive session, property section for. Sale owns the property. I don't know that I have anything more to comment right now. Right now. If not, we can move to item 29. The dispatch program. He specifically asked, Mr. Oakley to show you. And the sheriff will be here and Chief Woodman will be here. And you wanna start by saying something? I don't know. First, or just ask questions. You don't talk first? I'll let you. I'm pretty good. Yeah. I guess, I'm gonna set the stage a little bit. Yes. Would you? The dispatch system is will not great. In terms of, by that, I mean, yeah, great, was good saying that we just don't have any bodies to be good.
Correct.
One of the things that I think I'm gonna propose for the next meeting is to withdraw the, the incentive program. No employee has recommended anyone and they said it didn't work and it's been in place for 5 months or better now, so. And there's some, I think there's questions in some people's mind, being valid programs, so probably going to, no, I am going to put it on the agenda to withdraw that program, but that's a minor size piece of this question. You said something to me, I'll let you talk, but you said something to me that kind of jolted me today about the workforce. What I'm trying to say, the way the workforce is made up, and it's the new generation.
New era.
The what?
It's a new era for sure.
And that actually is causing maybe causing some of our problem. So,
Yeah. So this is informational, but the backstory is, so in our dispatch center, and so Sheriff and Chief Woodring and I have all been working closely together on this issue for a while. In our dispatch center, we currently require dual certified personnel dispatch, meaning that they have to have a telecommunicator license and also a jailer's license. That requirement has existed since gosh, since I started, I don't know, long before you started. Cause in our old jail, they actually did both, like we had one person who was jailing and answering the 911 calls and all that. That requirement continued when we moved into the Ellsbury LEC. Because they control the doors within the comm center, so. A lot of the problems we're seeing, we're trying to think of new innovative ways to solve our workforce issue. So as you know, right now, we're way understaffed there. 12 hours a day, every day, we outsource our dispatch to Highland Lakes. And a big thing, and I also have Chief Food here, and he worked there for a long time, and he's still actually, we've placed some of our employees that are telecommunicators, ESD employees in communications to help out certain days. So asking somebody, especially when they're in there by themselves, to answer all the 911 calls and the admin calls and control the doors and do the bonding and all that is just a huge mess. And with the current workforce changes, it's even harder to do that.
Okay, well, just plain spoken, what that means is, some people don't mind getting a dispatch license, they don't mind getting a jail.
Yes, so there's a lot of candidates out there that I think we could recruit and even, which I hate to say this in a public meeting, but steal from other counties and other comm centers that only have a telecommunicator license, but not a jailer license. What that means operationally though is we have to have someone else in that center to do the doors and all the jail functions. What that would mean is 4 additional positions that are technically jailers to be jail controllers and would handle all the doors, handle all of bonding and stuff like that. What I'll tell you is then, yes, we could just hire people that have just a telecommunications. And I think we would get really good applicants, and it's gonna divide the workload and make it safer. That actually then allows you to have people, Chief Woodring, can talk to you about jail regulations, because that's not my expertise, but I mean, now you have someone actually looking at cameras and monitoring the jail, keeping the jailers that are in the jail safe, while allowing our telecommunicators to answer 911 calls instead of trying to decide, you know, if there's a fight breaking out in the jail and 911's ringing, which are you doing? Not a fair ask. The other thing is right now, because we're having 12 hours a day covered by Highland Lakes, we're already having to put someone in there to do that function on overtime. So we already technically are paying 2 FTEs on that, which at an overtime rate in a second. Yep. Technically 3. So we're already really almost paying this.
That's kind of.
No.
This is the dispatchers that do the.
Plan.
There's some.
Yeah. And there's some that don't.
Yeah, for example, out of Lakes, nobody has felt the word out of the door.
They don't do any jailing, correct? I think the bigger thing, just to be blunt with you all, is these are growing pains. So obviously, we have growth here. And all our departments and public safety functions and whatnot. None of us are new to it. It's just, it's happening quicker than we thought. So it's something that when I gave my professional recommendation to the sheriff, which is why he's making me stand up here, is I think that this is the best solution that can fix it permanently.
But you don't necessarily agree, do you?
What?
The sheriff, people prefer to have everybody license.
I think sheriff and I are in complete agreement now.
I think we're in agreement. I don't think it. I know we have to prepare for the growth that's coming. There is no way the jail can do that with dispatch or dispatch being dual license with the growth that's are requiring that. We're probably one of the larger jails that are still doing that. Gillespie, of course, is separate. most of the surrounding counties separate their dispatch. And we gotta compare it. Do I still try to hold on the old way? Yes. But if our county's suffering because of holding on to the old way, I don't wanna do that. I wanna get it fixed. I want to dispatch completely on our own, away from the old country. And I'm willing to do what it takes to get it done.
Well, let me ask you about that, it's been thrown around a bit. So the movement management system is kind of in the middle between souls. And I was wondering, what if that whole piece of the system moved out into the jailer's cage and the jailer's cage was made secure? I don't know, some kind of a glass door with a car key or something else, but she made it a secure room or space that then jailers would control movement.
That could happen. It has to be redone through the jail commission. The expense would be pretty hard. There is a way to do it right now. The way we're built is by moving the jail up front, the jail control part up front where the lieutenant did.
The lieutenant was,
This is something Capcom has also suggested to it, not we just brought it up. They said that needs to happen, to separate. Just, it is what it is. People don't want to do both. It's hard to sue.
yeah, so sheep littering and money and a budget amendment likely, unless if we can find the money somewhere else. Well, still an amendment either way.
So you have 11, 12 dispatch positions. How many dispatchers do you have in it?
Old.
So you seven or eight solely on just dispatcher only, you still have available positions that if you needed more people to fill in at jail and keep them at the same location. One of the complaints that I received through your jail or dispatchers was, being in there by yourself was terrible. Right? Because you can't even go to the bathroom without worrying that the phone is ringing. So we work a lot of nights with one person. We've done, I don't get it, a lot of days with one person. So filling 5, 6 of those open positions with just dispatch only still allows you X amount of positions that, you might be able to fill those with just jailers.
I think our goal is to fill every single dispatch position though, because that's what we want, because then we will have 2 people. President, the lieutenant, who's our budget is. Yes, and the budget, yes, and the budget.
But in, well, that's
Dispatch should be 9. 9. It's 9 FTEs. 11. Yeah.
However,
So
there's money to start filling those positions right now without having to do any type of budget amendment, or anything else, and get us back to a better situation. We can look at the scenario of,
I think that's why it's informational right now, but it is gonna require action. So if we start filling it with telecom only, then they have to have someone else in there fulfilling that jailer.
which
Position is going. Yeah, so, but I mean, it works, but
Yeah, well,
I don't know,
let's say that you were fully.
overtime line, I think.
Yeah.
So you're fully staffed in the jail. Dispatcher. I have more dispatchers, he says, and you have this extra money, to maybe go buy some more jailers to do the board. But we don't have lines to put the jailers in, do.
No, there's not a, but. So it still would require an amendment.
Budget. Emergency, emergency.
well, we're also in November. So, what is the time frame that you actually fill in these positions? So there might be enough money left over, that's what I'm getting.
Is there?
Maybe 4 more full-time judges.
You got the money, you still have to amend it to create those line items.
We've been,
They account for the.
we've had 11, let's say 11, we've had 11 positions for about 4 or 5 years now, and they've never been full. So, let's get them full, and then we know that.
But the point here is that problem getting in full, the company is with a single provision on the dual provision. Well, then there's nobody to manage the board sometimes. That's why it has to be all or none. It has to be your idea of trying to load up and fill up the dispatch. Is a great idea. And at the same time, bringing in enough new jailers to manage movement in chair. Same time. Right.
Correct, yes.
Which at this point, there may be enough money, and I think, but it
Depending on
does,
how long it's consumed.
but it does take
Position.
position modifications because there's. It's strictly got it on. Go back. Right here. Agreed. That's all. It's very right. It's question of line.
Lee,
Another issue that the board may not be aware of with people, with the direct commission on law enforcement, when I hire a dispatcher right now, I need to know who's working that jail with the cameras. Because if that dispatcher is gonna do it, I have to issue them a license immediately, so I gotta know, are they gonna be a dispatcher and a jailer, or just a dispatcher? So if we start hiring just a dispatcher, now it's all on the jail for that board.
That's right.
That's where we're stuck. And unfortunately, with T-Mobile, I have to have that jailer registered and in class within 90 days. That's where I'm stuck.
That's right.
Just hired a new telecommunicator today, I have another one starting on the second, and I have no idea if I'm supposed to give you with it.
I do wanna just highlight though, the CapCog, they had CapCog come in and do an independent assessment and they came up independently with the same recommendations of what we're giving you the initial info on it. So, and I can tell you, and please attest to this, not to throw them under the bus, but I mean, if they wanted to be jailers, they would have gone and been jailers. They don't, a telecommunicator doesn't want to be a jailer. They could have gone out to the jail and only held one license and made more money. So,
not today.
not today, but historical, so I mean, we have proof.
There's expenses of moving, remodeling.
No, that, the cap is,
It's been a big move to monitor. And
oh, within there? No,
the door,
everything's gonna say, where's that, just.
yes,
The rearranged in the room, so it's not gonna have to look like that.
So let me,
no, it's just cables, just water cables, that's it. It's just an IT.
here's, time out. Recommendation. Pull this out and see if this thing is close to what your recommendation is. Take the money that Commissioner Policeman talked about, which is last salary or dispatcher do not have. And you take the money, whatever's left in Senate Bill 22, that we can use, as I had the discussion with people, there may be as much as $150 or more dollars there, $1,000 there. And you hire up dispatchers like you want, single license dispatchers. And you take the rest of the money and simultaneously for this military person and chief and the sheriff person, and you hire another new jailers to manage the board at the same time. Is that the proposal?
Yes,
Are you sure? It's not-
yes.
I said it. And it's your,
no, they're not gonna be special judges. They will do everything. They will have to be trained in everything. That is their shift on that day, but they should be able to be trained as a jailer throughout that jail.
Correct, they have to.
That license.
Yeah, they're not gonna just do the boards. Or,
You can float them where.
yes,
Correct.
You've been successful at it, right?
yeah,
You're, that'll be good. So you've been successful at violence. Yeah,
I've got a good job. We haven't, we've got applications out.
But it's still, but this concept still requires.
Yes.
4-1. Which you're already paying for 3.
He was coming in and starting. Sinking in. So that get you for that point, or is that getting?
And they're not trained.
Right, no, I mean, once they're fully trained and everything, does that get 6 or just 4?
Back in here, what's the average?
Currently 89,
Yeah.
9,300. If it was full time, it is 31,000.
180.
Yeah. If we can't staff it. If we can't staff it and have to outsource, 31,000.
So every time you get a dispatcher over there. They'll set it be events out there.
One of those joking and all things, two. Enter my own.
So
Yes, the fire.
what you're paying, behind the lakes or whatever, is not getting it cheap.
If we went that route, it's gonna be more expensive. Honestly, than fixing this problem.
So you can see why. I took the initiative to put this on the agenda. It's a very complicated discussion. And I think we need people to go forward. There's no point in putting something that's not palatable to the court. And the idea that before we
I think what's most important probably for all of us is just to. Obviously, it's information, you're not taking action, but what additional information do you want?
So I guess the question I have is, again, let's. Because right now, if you was just to hire a dispatcher, that wouldn't make what the salary is, because the salary is based on a dispatcher / jailer. It's gonna be a little less, and you know that. But if you was to hire, it's just a specific jailer, that's also a little bit less than the budgeted amount, so you have to bill. And maybe one day you say, okay, we can take that first time to the dispatch on that and we can move them to the jail on them. And I know Lee has an issue, she has to, I'm trying to figure out who's getting the jailer's license if there's no.
We can run those models and see potentially how much dollars there's on the table, but I don't think there's gonna be any because we're paying people on overtime right now to already do this function.
And I'm not worried about that, but what I'm saying is you have X amount of positions that are still open. Still look for police or general film.
Okay.
And then if you fill them dispatcher only, just adjust their pay, y'all have that description. And if you fill them with a jailer, it's gonna be. Howard?
Are you? How are you making the point that they filled all 9 positions? The dispatch positions, and they filled the supervisor position, but dispatch is full. And they're mostly not jailers, they're mostly just dispatch licensed. You put 2 of them in there, they're both dispatch licensed. Who's supposed to push the buttons to open the door?
Well, I've never, since we've added these positions, I've never seen them before.
There's gonna be nobody push the buttons on the doors.
They're not allowed to, they can't.
You're saying they go first. I'm not saying you're gonna fill it, you can fill it with the jailer. You know, you've got a little position that if it's the jailer, put it in there with the dispatcher, under the dispatcher, button. Doesn't make that big of a difference. When they have a jailer's office, they go to the button. But you're still trying to fill all the positions that we have sitting.
And create more than.
But put up for the dispatch.
Yeah. Yeah. Right, once you get all those positions full, and like, hey, okay, now full up everywhere, now we need to be adding some more positions. Because the money's there, the positions are there. It's just the discrepancy of a dispatcher versus dispatcher jailer versus only a dispatcher for only a jailer.
Saying,
Fill your positions.
well, I'd love to, Chris, but we're in a major bind of something that I've begged for years. It didn't happen until this year, until we became an emergency situation. And now we're farming out next door. We're paying a ton of money. I'm trying to figure out how to fix it and fix it for the future growth that's coming. All right, we got to fill the positions. Yes, even though we filled the positions, if we fill them as dispatchers, we still got to hire jailers to come over.
That's what he's saying is hire jailers under dispatch position codes and get it started.
But then we're still gonna have to.
Why wouldn't that work before? I thought the reason we were in this position, because we were going to the controls and all the calls and all that goes on, that it takes 2 dispatchers.
We need 2 people in there 24 hours a day.
You're not staff dispatching 5 people. Can't do that.
Correct, minimum would be 8 without a supervisor.
And you still need a 2 mid so that when someone calls in sick, vacation, holiday, that there's someone to be able to go up top, someone to come down below to assist, so there's always 2.
Please.
If they're unexperienced. If we're able to poach people from other agencies, it'd be less than that, but yes, an inexperienced hires.
Also, you know, we went into partnership with Capcom for a program called, it was ProQA at the time, I know it's Prior Dispatch. We have not been able to implement that program because of my communications team. That is another certification that communications has to have. That is a very deep program. And a very intricate program where when somebody calls in and they start putting in information, it prompts them to ask certain questions. It also tells them how to instruct someone to do CPR, how to help someone who does choking and all that stuff. Right now, we can farm that out with somebody else. How to deliver a baby. Right now, we farm it with somebody else. We have to hit a button, send it down to the border to Montgomery County to take care of that for us, because we can't do it. And we pay for that.
Here's the thing.
And we pay for it.
Here's the thing. Pretty clumsy system, pretty nice dispatch center. And I've watched them in a flood, but it was unbelievable that they did. And there are times, obviously, when you're eating donuts, because nobody's home. You never know, right? But my point is, you got this great facility. And it's operated before at a peak levels. And it's not right now, and it hasn't for a while. And we're paying people big dollars to do what we should be able to do. And frustrating.
Yeah, well, the constant call volume was the same as it is now. There were periods of a lot of calls, but the constant everyday call volume is not like it is right now.
Workforce has changed. Sorry.
That's a bigger part of it.
I hate to say it, I mean, it's the younger workforce generation, it just, they have higher expectations. And, you know. Less work ethic, I have to say it, I hate to say it.
Well, what kind of discussion, you've heard points of view. The process is. What the finance people, I don't know, figure something out, you'll make a proposal.
We'll work with finance, probably should keep it on the agenda as a standing item.
What?
No, okay, sorry. It's your court, sir. Yes, sir. I agree, we will keep working on it.
If it changes.
But
I think workforce changes is how we got to the situation. I don't think it's something that we can't mitigate. It's kind of a snowball effect. So when they started losing employees and they went down to minimum staffing, that just overwhelmed the existing employees that were now stuck working alone, and people hit their breaking point. So I mean, I still believe, and Dawn believes, and Rob believes that it can be fixed. It's just,
do y'all all believe that to separate them and have your jailer separate from it? Just,
I think it's inevitable.
is that what you got? I mean, that's there's no one argues for that.
With the growth, we might as well prepare for it now. That's part of the problem.
So that's the proposal, is to show how we're doing it.
yeah,
And it can improve Christians, so savings and apply to. Need to work with those
yes, sir.
proposal.
Okay, we'll do.
And figure out. If, I know there's one argument we fill all we have, and then worry about it, but you can figure out, because I'm worried if you fill all you have, you're still gonna be short jailers. Figure out how to. Put those.
It'll be
Yeah.
short,
If it's an emergency, can we put in more laptops? I don't know, we can figure that out.
we'll do. We gotta go see legal. Thank you, Judge.
You're welcome, Ben. Oh, you didn't say thank you, Chris.
Oh, thank you.
Go this.
It is unless you care to take any action. Alright. With that, the next time, is an executive session. Okay, at 49 AM. Exception of all application of the hearing and discussion about purchase or lease of property. With that, we will, the usual will adjourn. If you're adjourned. See.
Really,
Test, test, test. Can you hear anything through the speakers?
Do it again.
Test, 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 testing.
Yeah, I'm done. Yeah.
Okay, thank
Got that.
you. Thank you.
Mhm.
We do this over there. Kim, don't run, please. No, questions. After the meeting.
Oh, I know, I can.
We're on this.
There's board has completed its executive session on the 28th day of October 2025. And it is now 11:33 and we are turning to open session. No action was taken while in executive session. So moving to move with the items to take back up, so move to item 36:03. I'll make a vote for the agenda. For a second. Mr. Riley, discussion. Favor say aye.
Aye.
We're there.